welcome back to the Homegrown Challenge. I once again apologize. I was, unable to actually get the audio for this, and so I'm just going to be re-going over it, redubbing it. But it's welcome back, 2026 Toronto Blue Jays. It's a great season in store. Some great talent being thrown into the squad here, as you can see. And we jump right into it. This is what the squad we've currently got going on in spring training. This is your Toronto spring training roster. Next season, it's going to be, we're going to be doing opening day, and it's going to be a team full of all of our players, even if, some of our players aren't the greatest. I think I have about 5 or 6 or 7 just ringers that I've pulled up from our international complex next season, so I'll show you guys then. But this is the spring training roster, the injured list, AAA. We're bare bones at this point with our roster, with our numbers, and we'll be able to build it back up over the course of time. We saw some good progress with our single A team, and we're going to continue to see a lot more progress throughout this. Here is our, player, our development here. Nelson Moreno's starting in rookie league. I like, how he's developed. He should have a pretty solid year there. And yeah, this is his PA BABIP, his pitcher BABIP, pretty good, his best stat out of them all. And yeah, here is, I really should have got water for this. My mouth is dry. I'm going to chug along for the 30 minutes that this video is. And so we've got some other players, Delgado, Behenya, just sent up a couple of guys. Alan Espinal's been decent. A couple of guys who I've just been sending up to fill up the numbers of our single A, our high A here. Carson Dorsey had a really great second half of the year in Dunedin, so he's going to be playing for the Vancouver Canadians in high A. He's got good stuff, movement. His control needs to come along a little bit, and we might see him fly up these minor leagues. So we move on here, and we continue to move on. This is our lineups, our player development budget, draft budget, scouting, everything almost maxed out except for scouting. Drew Toussaint, later on in this video, his position comes into question, but I've kept him going on for at least one more contract, just as I have everybody else renewed their contracts. We haven't really seen them play with any actual real players, so we'll see that progress and change, and new coaches come in. And Ledesma, our new signing here, the batter. As we continue to chug along here, we're at not opening day, we're at preseason or something like that. Sorry, my memory might not be the greatest recollection. I did this a couple days ago. Tried to put it all together last night, and I didn't really have the audio. So we need to build a team, championship home, fan interest, improve team chemistry, top 6 minor league system. First player development update here, March 1st. Some, Jovan's not really our guy, so Ledesma, potentials increased to 5 stars. Guerrero's decreased. Barbosa, middle of the road player development update. Barbosa now showing as 5, still showing as 5 stars, improving his velocity. But you see, not as good for Guerrero and Gamble. Look at Jovan, obviously not our guy. He's one of the players, who the most dearly missed player here. As we look at our top minor league systems, here for the Blue Jays, we are around 13, 14. Nelson Moreno cracking the top prospects list. They're at 98th. Mark Barnard, Cruz, Schoolcraft, a couple of our early round picks also finding themselves on the top 200 list. And we continue looking on here. Luis Medina starting the season as a starting pitcher. We'll see how he fares. It's a 3 fastball mix, so it might not be the greatest 3 pitches, but he can play starting pitcher, and we'll see how he fares in that position. Maybe we'll move him back as a reliever later on. Su-Yen Chen, our best hitter by far. This is the active roster. Secondary, our AAA, AA, high A, and single A rosters, as well as rookie league. Matsumoto had a good season last year as well. Going to be somebody to keep an eye out for throughout this season. I don't even know what I had to talk about here. Just talking about something, I'm sure. Preseason predictions here for your Blue Jays. We are going to finish 12 and 150 is the prediction here. Once again, another tough season ahead for the Blue Jays, but these seasons are going to crack on, and we'll get something good out of these years and in our development prospects. And it's just going to strengthen our roster as we continue to fly up those minor league system rankings. We got Medina, Plumlee, Daiki Kim, Gray Fenter, Kolduan Singh. And here we are. The draft pool is revealed. We have the 6th or 8th pick. 6th was supposed to be 6th, but moved to 8th. You'll see later. But here's all players. Drew Toussaint. We still got a couple of high potential pitchers. Grady Emerson as well. And Charlie Condon. If none of the high potential players really fall to us, we can also pick up him here, there in right field, who will be more of a quick injection of talent. But we'll see how all these players crack on themselves. Demand pretty high, but we can match it. And so a good mix here, and the drafts are only going to get better from here. This draft is actually probably the weakest in terms of depth, but it does have some high potential players here as we look at some of the guys available for us to pick here. At 8 was number 1, but we fell to 8. San Francisco Cleveland Guardians jumping us with their comp picks. Doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. We're picking 8th, and we should get a good prospect to continue to build our system with. Here, a player development update. We are 0-25 on May 1st. Still yet to get that first win. Valantris is dropping down in potential. So is Cruz Schoolcraft, although he has a couple of that's a DJ Newman and Schoolcraft, but he's increasing his velocity a little bit and movement. Middling, and then some nice pluses here for Barnard, Barberi, and Dalton Wentz as well, getting some stats increases for our player development update. So once again, let's see some guys going down, some guys going up. We'll see a lot more players improve their skills as our teams get better. It's hard when you're upset and losing every game to really develop your skills, but because we're spending so much, we do see a couple of guys increasing, and that's all we need to really solidify ourselves. As we look here, Youngmin Kim, nice start to the season, although he's not getting a lot of not getting a lot of innings. Medina with a good start as well here. 25 innings in, 5 starts in, 1.27 ERA plus for him. And as you look, we're not the worst at starters ERA or bullpen ERA. Hiroshi Matsumoto and Shu-Yen Chen also doing pretty well for us. We just really are missing something else. He's got good power. He's fragile, though, which is something I'm going to be worrying about. But, we shouldn't be 0-25. All our, lower leagues are struggling. But the first win came on May 2nd. The next day, the Blue Jays dismissed the Brewers 4-2. This time it's not a comeback. We just, won the game throughout and actually got a win for one of our pitchers, which is something we've struggled to do. And it's Peyton Plumlee with the win in 5 innings pitched, only let in 1 earned run. That's enough to get him a W and the Blue Jays in the win column here. But nice win. And hopefully we're going to see a lot more of these this year than the amount we've already gotten. Here we are, 3-42, a couple more wins. Luis Medina's, stats have been dropping a little bit, still without a win, 0-6. We are, the FCL Blue Jays have started off 8-8. That's good for them. First in defensive efficiency. They've been really good at playing defense. And that's where we're going to build up from the FCL and build into A and high A. And then we might build from the top down as well because of the international free agents we're getting as well. So, the last team to actually be good is probably going to be the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. But once again, 9th in base running. Starters ERA runs against, not the worst, but base running definitely our strong suit still, as another great start for Wilson Morales in the bullpen there as well. And Youngmin Kim, only 9 innings pitched though, would be hoping to see a lot more, but has not let a run in on those 9 innings. Luis Medina will like to see a little bit of an improvement as we continue to crack on. Cole Dwinsing, I don't know what that FO stands for, but maybe bad. Maybe it just stands for bad. He's been struggling. They wanted to put Medina in the bullpen, but he's just too useful here as a starter. I was like, let's just replace him with Cole Dwinsing because he's not been good for us. So I'm rearranging that now. May 24th, 3-42. Probably didn't need to record all of this, but whatever. And we continue to crack on to the first-year player draft. And here we are at the minor league systems check-in. We've lost our pitcher there in the top 100, so it's just Jorge Barbosa now for us. The 4th best prospect in the league. Review of midseason goals, underwhelming team record. Team stats, on base percentage has not increased. Attendance has increased. Our farm's, building up. But he wants us to get top 6. And team chemistry is a hot mess, as it's going to be as we're losing every game. And fan interest, hot mess. We're 5-73. A lot of expiring personnel here. Drew Toussaint, Rich Jameson, not really in question as Toussaint is. And Del Monte also going to get re-signed. All of these guys are going to get re-signed. A really positive player development update if you disregard Lozano here. Connor Schaus with some increasing. Barnard, Valantris, Haunts also getting improvements here. Jackson Miller. Lozano, not so much in our international league. Lozano, who I think is a guy I'm going to send up into rookie ball at the end of this year. A little bit of a sneak peek till next episode where I'll actually be live with you guys once again. Let's make sure I'm actually recording this, as I'm pretty sure I am, and I am. We have the 8th pick here at the first-year player draft. Welcome. We have, about $7 million in our slot, but we can go well above slot to get some of our guys in here. And we're just hoping one of the high-potential players or high-floor players do fall to us at 8. We should have a decent pick of our choice of player here in this draft, but we'll see who falls to us. We're 6-81 here on July 11th. I think also here I'm going over a couple of the players that I decided to call up, so I'll mention those as well as I get my book open. I do have a book of these guys, and I sent up Chris Maldonado, Paxton Kling, Mark Barnard, Slade Caldwell, Console, DJ Newman, Jerron Navarez, Patrick Forbes, Connor Schaus, Peter Haunts, Ryan Sloan, Jackson Barberi, Jacob Tobias, and Sam Stem, all into high A or A ball. Just A ball is for Maldonado. And we look here, the first year player draft, some of the players that could become future Blue Jays if if it falls right for us. Condon there, another player I'm keeping an eye on, although I doubt it'll fall to us. I mean, I already know who does. We advance to our pick. It's Ethan Wheeler, Nate Walker, CJ Sampson as the real standouts here have fallen to us. Could put Bayless as a starter, but I'm not going to risk it. I think CJ Sampson is the pick to make here at starting pitcher. He's just a really, really solid pitcher. He can also go 2 ways, which is really good for him. He's just a more solid player than Ethan Wheeler is and has more potential on both sides of the baseball, both sides of the plate. I guess both sides of the plate here for your Blue Jays. And so CJ Sampson, 6'4", right-handed pitcher out of Texas, is going to be your newest Blue Jay. Our second round pick here is Roussel Rocky Shepard, lacking a little bit in power, but his contact's good, his BABIP's good. Nice speedy shortstop who's already a really great defender. And so he'll be able to grow into that really, really well as one of our future standouts in that position. As I like to have a nice defensive shortstop, and he can also has potential to hit a little bit. So Roussel Shepard's going to be your second round pick. Here in the third round, we're going to go with Cameron Haynes, the starting pitcher. Once again, this time out of Florida, right-hander, 6'3". He's just, you look here, the best potential starter left on the board here in the third round, and so we'd be stupid not to pick him up. He's about the same level of player Cruzcraft was last year that we got in the first round at pick 10. So, I think it's just a smart play to pick up Cameron Haynes with that potential, and maybe we'll see him as a Blue Jay in the future. Here, our next pick, Deuce Costello, out of Pennsylvania, just the highest potential bat that we like the most, and Lucas Kennedy also going to get picked up by your Blue Jays here in the 5th round. I'll meet you guys once we've finished all of the different, the rest of the signings here. Well, and like I said, it was not really a deep draft class, as we see, we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here with this catchers Braden and Hayden, Gustafson and Buchanan, Medina, just a lot of relief pitchers, just trying to fill some gaps in the rosters that we might have, but it's the least deep draft class there will be, and so only really the guys at the top of the class here are going to be future Blue Jays. I think CJ Sampson throwing as 5 stars now, looking like a really great selection for us, and Roussel Shepard should also be a quality player for your Blue Jays. As we're here, negotiating with draftees, this is who we're sending the money to, Chris Wilson, and already we're at the All-Star game, and surprisingly, your All-Star is Roman Falsenker, not one of our guys, 99th pick in 2004. He's had a really high ERA plus, but a negative WAR, 65 innings, so whatever. I'm surprised that we didn't see a Wilson in there after his All-Star campaign last year, and then our All-Star for the prospects was Mark Barnard, who's also had a decent year in Dunedin. We don't really have any high-ranked prospects in AAA or AA, so that's why you see Mark Barnard there. Reading all messages, team home screen. And let me know, you guys, if you prefer this sort of commentary, post-commentary, because I'm down to do this as well every single time. Whatever works for you guys. Wilson Morales, I'm surprised we didn't see there. Medina also having a good year. Suyu Chen as well, pacing for 2 WAR, 140 OPS plus. It's just interesting they give it to Roman Falsenker, one of our, I guess he's had a good year, low ERA. I think they want to give us somebody in the bullpen because it doesn't take away from one of the star bats in the league. So, I get that. That makes a little bit of sense to me. We're 6-89 here, July 20th, at the All-Star break, as we look on towards the trading deadline. Here we are at the player development update at the trading deadline. Gilberto Contreras gets a little bit of an increase, and I also realize that he's a person. Team home screen, this is where we're looking at Luis Medina at a 5 WAR. He's really struggled recently. I don't really notice it yet. But looking at our history index, we're pacing. We've got 7 wins. We're looking to be just slightly better than last year. We're still 50 games behind at this point in the season. International Complex looking to be decent here. Another player I just realized existed, Luis Munguia, the catcher. Strong, powerful bat here. 6'4" from the Dominican. If my game, I think, glitched out a little bit. Here we are at the player development update. Peter Hans again upgraded. Patrick Forbes, Connor Schaus, Slade Caldwell drops a little bit. Luis Anaya drops a little bit. So does Munguia, who I just noticed was a player. A middling update once again. You're going to see some guys rise, see some guys fall. We'll see a lot more positive updates as we start to get to winning ways. But we are 7-123, yet to get a win to put us higher than last year. And at this point, I moved Luis Medina into the bullpen to as our closer because he was not performing as a starting pitcher at all. His ERA plus had dropped below 100, and just doing him a favor here as we look at our minor league system, the FCL Blue Jays. Decent, look like an actual baseball team. Dunedin also, as we sent up some of those guys, picked up a little bit of form and looked less embarrassing as as our AAA, AA, and high A teams do look, but still not don't look like baseball teams. And I'm also trying to find international amateur free agency for $120,000 available, but a little hint: we do not get anybody. We do have the most, but it's not enough to pry anybody away who's actually worth anything. So yeah, unfortunately, we do not pick up anybody there as we move on to the end of the regular season. Jackson Holiday injured, although that's not what I'm talking about, I think. 7-155 at the end of the season here. We lost 63 straight games since I showed you guys we were at 7 wins, and we did not surpass last year's record. Unfortunate, but not much of a difference between 7 and 155 and 10 and 152. Luis Medina finished the year a bit stronger, dropping into the 4s with his ERA. He's going to be a closer for us in the future. I don't think he's panned out as a starter or will pan out as a starter. The Blue Jays, Dunedin Blue Jays finished decently there. And once again, base running was our really only strong suit. Some players, still looking, still searching, not going to find anybody. That's how it goes. I wanted to pick up Juan Miranda. We got close. We got to about $100K in difference in our demand and the amount of money I could spend, but it just didn't really pan out between the two of us as we chug on to the International Free Agency Showcase. Or maybe we won't, or maybe we will. Who knows? Oh, I just wanted to go over once again Luis Medina, our best pitcher, even though he did struggle a little bit, and our best batter, Su-Yen Chen, or Youngmin Kim, we're going to talk about a little bit more. Also having a positive WAR, not as high ERA as last year, but a positive WAR season. Peyton Plumlee also being decent, but we're not going to see him again. And our best batter by far, Su-Yen Chen, 124 OPS plus, over 1 WAR. Fragile, but somehow made it through the year. Hit 28 home runs. A decent year for Su-Yen Chen, and we'll see him definitely as one of the staple guys for us in the outfield for a couple of years to come. Matsumoto, similar year to last year. Just a struggle. He's not an MLB player, but he has to be for us, and he's one of our better ones for us. This is our organization by the end of the season. Let's chug along. I love using that word, if you haven't noticed. Let's chug along. Base running. Our starter's ERA completely ballooned after a strong, decent start as we move on to International Amateur Free Agent Showcase. These are the guys I'm going to go with here for the Free Agent Showcase. We'll pick up one of them for sure, as we want to build our relationship with these guys. And the season's over. We have a score of 1. Our minor league system now at 10th. Our attendance increased, but we're still worse than on base. As we look at some of our new budget increased by about $4 million here. Contract extended because he has to. Review of season goals: play close to 500 ball, improve team on base, acquire a top player, all that and more. Top 6 minor league system. Basically the same stuff. We lost Matthew Johnson, our pitching coach. We're going to have to hire a new one. The contract was extended. Here on November 7th, we also get a top prospects list. So we are currently 10th with Barbosa at 12th, CJ Sampson at 18th, and Roussel Shepard, now showing 3.5 stars potential at 72nd here in the top 100 here. Other players in the top 200, Cameron Haynes and Mark Barnard, who's got a bit of an injury on himself. Cameron Haynes, our 3rd round pick, Roussel Shepard, our 2nd round pick this year. And so we move along here. Or do we? Or don't we? Now time for a new check-in to make sure my voice is recording. I'm going to have to do that a lot more, I think, in the future. As we move on to some free agency filings, I'll let you know if we get any of these awards. And we do actually get a great glove in right field. Tevin Mitchell, not going to be here next year, but played decent enough defense. I know he didn't bat well at all, but leadership credentials, I guess, in right field. Tevin Mitchell threw out a bunch of guys, I guess, because we couldn't get him out any other way. So it had to be Tevin Mitchell with his arm in the outfield, getting a lot of outs, and that's why he got himself a Gold Glove. And Rafael Suero going to be our new pitching coach after Matthew Johnson left. We're going to be nice development mechanics, teach pitching outstanding. Love what I see from him. That's our new pitching coach here in Toronto. Also, we almost had the Rookie of the Year. Obviously, we didn't because of Ki-Young Hee, who we almost picked up. 6 WAR season for him. Great defender, but he's 33, and that's why we didn't pick him up. Also, super expensive. Su Yen Chen was your second leading vote getter for Rookie of the Year. So that just showed, I'd love to see him get a similar year next year as the one he had this year, but we'll see. Luis Carpio is the best international free agent available. He'll be a great opposite fielder to Su Yen Chen here in right field. He's a decent teammate. A similar player, but this time his eye is his standout quality. Everybody else, all signed. They're all 2 stars, 1.5 stars. You'll probably see them in the starting lineup or rotation, but they're not good. Next year you'll see them, but yeah, those are the international free agency. Carpio, definitely the pick of the bunch, an actual MLB player. As we are here, just, you see some announcements signing some of them. December 17th, the draft lottery results have been announced. We finished 6th once again, so maybe we'll be picking at 8 here in 2027 again. Unfortunate. One of these years we're going to win. Cincinnati jumping up from 15th all the way to 3rd. One of these years, your Blue Jays going to be in 1st with their lottery results. Don't know what I'm talking about here. It's pretty funny. I'm trying to match what the same beats that I hit when I was talking, but I guess I didn't. This is what our roster's looking like before the season. A lot of holes as we move to the Rule 5 draft. I'm not going to sign anybody as usual, just going to skip our pick. But yeah, there's nobody to pick anyway in a Rule 5 draft. We didn't have anybody anyway. Luis Carpio signed his contract. That's good to grab him. And it's also time for international amateur free agency. So here are the guys. Not a great, bunch. But we sign Daniel Contreras, the first baseman. Here, he'll be a good power hitter, good contact hitter, good hitter. And he'll play some first base for us here. He's a lefty throwing, righty batting first baseman from Venezuela. His nickname is Brick, so good thing we're not playing basketball. Daniel Contreras, your new Blue Jay and 5-star potential. Hopefully he'll cash in on that. Another couple of players I was looking at Daniel Espinoza. No, I wasn't. I'm lying here. I was actually looking at Esteban Iniguez was my first pick. Wasn't able to get him. Looks really good with his potential and contact. Can play one of the outside outfielders, as we've already signed a new center fielder last year, but Contreras instead here at first base. And what do I talk about now? This might just be the end of the video. If it's not, it says I have another minute here left to go. Nope, nothing. And so that's going to do it today here for your Toronto Blue Jays, your Homegrown Challenge. That's Season 3. I'm sorry it didn't work out as usual, but yeah, I'll be back next time, and